All right. Hey, welcome back. Wow, we've covered a lot of ground, and we'll continue to roll on with our open line at 504-556-9696. Now joining us via the phone, via the miracle of Google Hangout. Joining us here on the airways, 990 AM, and of course, WGSO.com, and the Google Hangout at Bayoubuzz.com. Steve Sabludowsky with us. Steve, how are you?
Good morning, Jeff. How are you?
Hey, doing well. Got a lot of topics we've been delving into, but I wanted to throw out one new one that our audience hasn't heard from us today, and I think you might have some information on this. I saw over the weekend John George's giving up his publishing duties at The Advocate, and some are speculating that this could be leading to another run for governor by John George's. We've got four major candidates in the race now. That would certainly shake it up. What do you think?
Well, I think that the fact that there was a poll that he and others commissioned that had a question in there, and he was competitive with David Vitter, I think that raises a question as to what his intent is. How well will he do? Well, first of all, it would shake things up for sure. What will happen to John Bel Edwards? That's something that we don't know. But then again, we have to wait and see if he's willing. If George is willing to put his money down like he did last time, and run like Donald Trump is doing.
He didn't do very well back in 2007, though. I mean, that was certainly not a very successful run, nor in 2010. So he doesn't have a really good track record.
Right. No, he doesn't. However, I believe that for the most part, those were coming out parties in a sense. I mean, nobody knew who he was. Also, you had the gambling issue. And I think that, he stepped up to the plate to some extent, and I think people would have a different feeling about him. The polls, I think, sort of indicate, at least the poll he commissioned indicates that. And
so you think he'll get some bounce for buying The Advocate and
oh yeah, sure,
a daily paper in New Orleans?
No question about that. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he's pretty much beaten the Times-Picayune's butt across the state, and take the lowly Advocate that who read that? I mean, I read it, but I read it online. So I think he's done a very good job with that, and I think people are going to say, well, just like people are saying about Trump, well, he's a businessman and he knows how to get things done.
But he's tried it twice, but maybe now people will see him in a different light. Hey, I encourage him to run. Hey, I think the more the merrier.
Well, it's certainly, if he does run, and if he does run, then certainly the question is he going to run as a Democrat, independent? I don't think he's going to run
as a Republican. He's been all three.
Yeah, he has been all three. So that's something I don't know. He won't have I don't think he'll have the Democratic Party support. So he would probably run as a Democrat or as an independent.
If I were
a difference.
If I were advising him, and I'm not, but if I were advising him, I would advise him to run as an independent, because I think people are disgusted with both parties. I think you see that on the national level. I think here in Louisiana, the Louisiana Democratic Party is like poison. And the Republicans have benefited, but not anything really from what the Republicans have done. They've just benefited from the collapse of the Democratic Party. And I think an independent who maybe can say, hey, I'm not tied for either one. My interest is the people of Louisiana. I'm out here for you. I mean, John Bel Edwards already has a Democratic Party endorsement anyway. So that's right. What I would recommend.
Right. If he does that, though, doesn't he appear, to just, follow the party based upon his own political needs? That's going to be, really what the question is, I think. Either you're Republican or Democrat. The reason why he chose to be an independent for is that, that the Republicans had chosen Jindal. The reason why he became a Democrat is because he pretty much needed to do so when he ran for mayor of New Orleans. So what's the reason that he would give? And I think that would you buy that more? I mean, would you really accept him more?
I mean, if he says, "Hey, I've been successful with the Advocate because I've come at it as a businessman, not as a partisan. I've come at it as someone who's diagnosed a problem and solved it. That's what I want to do for the state of Louisiana. I can't do it through the party system because both parties have gotten us into the mess we're in. We got a fiscal crisis here. We need independent leadership." I think, that's what Louisiana needs. I mean, he can make that kind of a case. The fact that he's been an independent before sort of, I think, helps him. But as you say, his most recent experiences as a Democrat, and I don't know if he'll feel obligated to stay as a Democrat. But I would recommend to him to run as an independent, and there could be an opening for him there. I mean, possibly.
Sure. Yeah, I think you're making a lot of sense. I really do. I would join you in that. In that, certainly you can try out whatever party you want, or be as independent as he was.
Yeah.
And there's enough of, I think, of a taint on the Democratic Party from the electorate standpoint that I think that I think he would fare better. The question I have is, what would that do to the, I guess to the polls leading up? Certainly, if he were to jump in, he would take away from John Bel Edwards.
Yes.
I think he would take away from others, but it would seem to me that John Bel Edwards, if you look at the poll from June, his poll at least, and when I say his poll and other business people, because we actually released the information about that, and it was actually poorly written by others, and we went in there and got in there and I think got the straight proof. But basically, what happened is he was polling pretty well, about 22% I think it was, and against Vitter. And so those aren't bad numbers, given the fact that he hasn't been out there campaigning anything. But that was taking John Bel Edwards out of the equation.
Right.
So there wasn't a poll done at that time that had John Bel Edwards and also had John George's in there.
Right.
Now they just did a poll. At least I talked to the pollster Vern Kennedy when we did that story, and he told me that the next poll was coming in the last part of July, which was, of course, a couple days ago. And so I haven't found out the results. That poll, actually, those polls are not intended to be released. Those are confidential polls, internal polls, among those people who are subscribing to those polls. The problem is that different business people who are parties to those polls are releasing them. You probably remember when one was released to publicly released, the Angel camp picked it up, and that the part that they released was a push part.
Right.
Okay, and then the same thing happened, quite frankly, after that, and that was a push part. So that's when I got involved in it, and so basically the numbers that we put up were the accurate numbers, which was after all of the information. When I say push, let me just tell you what they do. It's not to push I'm using that term generically. It's not so that they would actually intentionally hurt a candidate. They would provide good and bad about all the candidates, and then afterwards they would measure that to the initial poll, which was prior to all of this additional information. And how would that come out? And so the other people were throwing out those post information numbers, not the real numbers.
Okay.
And so to date, I'm not sure that there has been a poll that has included all of the candidates, which would include John George's.
Now, here's the thing about George's, and I want to take some calls at 504-556-9696. I think he always, in all of his campaigns, he waits too late. He waits too late to jump into the race. After candidates have been spending millions of dollars, he believes he can jump in at the very last minute and win, and it doesn't work that way. I mean, if he is going to run, I think he needs to get in now. I don't think he should wait till qualifying, because I just don't think that gives him enough time, really. And of course, we're talking about a difference of a month, but I think the sooner he gets in, the better. Let's squeeze in a quick call before the end of the first segment. And Glenn is with us in St. Bernard. Hey, Glenn, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey.
All I can say is that the last time John George's when he ran for governor, when he showed up at my church on Sunday with Sherman Copeland, that answered all my questions. That answered everything for me. Because I've been around long enough to know who Sherman Copeland is and what he's about. And that when you start hanging out with people like that, that answers all the questions about your character to me.
So up until then, Glenn, you were willing to give him a chance. Then when you saw him hanging out with Copeland, you're like, hell no.
I was definitely willing to give him a chance because, I wasn't crazy about Jindal. Because you're still not. But when you show up with someone like that, come on, man. That's just not. There's no way. No way. You're off the list.
Yeah. I think that was not the right decision to be hanging around with Sherman Copeland. And I think you're right. Could that have been chalked up to a rookie mistake? The guy doesn't know politics, hanging around with a guy who's experienced, figuring Copeland can help him.
But he's been around long enough. His dad's been around long enough.
Yeah.
He's old enough. He's at least my age to know who Sherman Copeland is.
Right.
And what he's been involved in with all these years. There's no way. No way.
So if he runs again, you've got the same opinion about him, Glenn? I mean, he's off the list?
He's definitely off the list. All
right, my friend. I appreciate that comment, and that's what Glenn experienced at his church. And, if you hang around someone controversial, that could be a good thing, and it could be a bad thing. Steve, your thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. I think Glenn is correct. I think that the association is going to rub off and will, in some people's minds, like in Glenn's mind, disqualify you. So, the problem is that every party has, those individuals that, you just cannot tolerate.
Right.
And so we'll see what happens if he does decide to run. But I understand where Glenn's coming from.
What would you gauge the chances are that he will run?
Well, I'd say about 40, 50-50 right now. I'd say, I personally was not aware that he did do that in terms of remove himself from the publishing. And so, but that was something that I had anticipated.
Right.
So it fit into the scheme based upon what you're telling me.
But doesn't that just all fit with him then saying, all right, now that I've handed over the publishing duties, I'm ready to run? I mean, it's something he wants to do. That's something that he's interested in. So I wouldn't be surprised. I'd put the chances maybe a little bit higher, 60% or so. And again, I would encourage him to run because the more, the better. I've been unimpressed with the race so far, Steve. I haven't gotten excited about anything. None of these candidates really have done much for me as a voter. I know it's early, but I've interviewed a few of them. I just think, I don't know, looking for a spark, looking for some sort of candidate that's going to shake things up.
Well, I think the Donald Trump thing actually might be a precursor, and I think that he can make a whole bunch of arguments, quite frankly, that Donald Trump is making, and he can actually use that as a buffer for certain attacks, such as you don't have the experience. The only government experience he has is being a member of the Board of Regents,
Right.
I believe. I don't think he's had any other government experience.
But he could turn that around to say, hey, I mean, these guys have experience in making this state very bad economically and $1.6 billion deficit. We don't want that kind of experience.
Well, I'm going to be consistent and just say I think experience really matters. Okay, in any election.
All right. Hold that thought because we're up against the clock. We'll come back to more phone calls. Steve Sabludowsky with us, Jeff Crouere here. To join us, it's 504-556-9696. Your phone call's next right here on Ringside.
Catch the Three Tailgater Show with Ken Trahan, Ed Daniels, and Rick Gailey Saturday mornings from 10 to noon on WGSO 990 AM. New Orleans.
Steve.
Yeah.
Hey, can we reconnect because your video froze up?
I did?
It freezed.
Okay.
The latest Fox News poll has them with 26% of the Republicans.
And the audio is not that good either.
Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna use a different browser. This was a new browser, and I just downloaded the Windows 10, and I'm using their browser. So let me go ahead and use a browser that we know worked. Okay. So just hang on. I'm going to quickly do that. Is the audio okay, though? I mean, what was the audio okay?
Audio sounds a bit, has a bit of an echo to it.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Okay, so for news that the other outlets won't even touch. Subscribe to the Blaze TV at theblaze.com.
So you want to reconnect using the new browser?
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now. I'm going to try to.
The show that exposes what's really going on that the government doesn't want you to know. And real news, the daily conversation on the topics of the day that matter most. Check out the Blaze Radio Network at theblaze.com/radio with original shows like Buck Sexton, The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson, Pat and Stu, and Jay Severin. Or if you need something to hold in your hands, subscribe to the Blaze magazine. So basically, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. This
in under some showers today. That chance upwards to 40% across the areas. Partly cloudy otherwise, and those temperatures will heat up regardless into the middle 90s. Overnight, it'll drop down to the upper 70s to the lower 80s. Tomorrow afternoon, about 40% lower 90s. About 40% again Thursday, Friday, and low to mid 90s.
Real estate auction. Join Sperry Van Ness Gilmore Auction for an online auction of 9 Louisiana and Mississippi properties through August 4th. Properties include a waterfront camp in Lafitte, homes in
Water Park, final month before the festivities conclude for the summer. So they're going to be going all the way up till September the 7th. We're going to be sending out a big batch of Blue Bayou tickets. So if you recently won, you'll be getting your tickets by the weekend. And we're going to be giving away more tickets today for Blue Bayou. And of course, a lot to get into as far as the big issues. Steve, you're back with us? And Steve, are you with us? All right, Darryl will try to reconnect with our friend Steve. In the meantime, let's try one other topic for your discussion here. As we've talked about what's going on with, of course, the governor's race and the possible entry of John George's.
Let me try a different browser then. This one, for some reason, didn't work. So let me try the Chrome browser. It's the same link. I'm using the same link. I'm using the same link. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on.
You can't see me? You can't? Hello?
again at 504-556-9696. It's Ringside right here on WGSO. Jeff Crouere here. Thanks for joining us. We're cruising through an open line. So everything from Louisiana governor's race to the 2016 race. Also want to get Steve's view on Bobby Jindal, who now has been in a debate, and he's still languishing at 1% in just a poll that I just saw. So he's not going to make the varsity debate on Thursday. He'll make the JV. So we'll get Steve's take on that and a whole lot more. And your phone calls next at 504-556-9696 right here on Ringside on WGSO.
Hey, New Orleans. Join me, Greg Douglas, on Fan to Fan Radio.
Hey, Steve, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. That's much better.
Okay.
All right,
I'm
thanks.
no professional statistician or film room expert, just a rabid college sports fan with half my brain focused on the conference we love. New Orleans has become a melting pot for SEC fans, and we will tap into that. Wednesdays from 7 to 8 on WGSO 990 and WGSO.com.
Suburban Roofing and Siding, 504-861-ROOF, locally owned and operated, fully licensed, insured, and a member of the BBB, and has been re-roofing South Louisiana for over 15 years. Suburban Roofing is one of only 6% of roofing contractors nationwide certified by shingle manufacturers, which will allow our customers to qualify for the manufacturer's extended warranty program. My good friend Marty Scoggin is honest and reliable and stands behind all of Suburban Roofing's quality workmanship. Suburban Roofing's skilled crews are experts in all types of roofs. Don't sign that contract. You call Suburban Roofing and Siding at 504-861-ROOF.
What are you doing to stop traffic when your business is ready to wow the pants off customers? Visit Sir Speedy. We produce quality signs, posters, banners, and more that are just a trick for trade shows, promotions, events, and product launches. Whether you're taking it to the street, the floor, or the counter, bigger is always better. For more information or to get a quote, go to SirSpeedyNewOrleans.com.
Magnolia Landscaping offers custom landscape design, meticulous maintenance, and professional installation. We have over 15 years of experience creating ornamental and sustainable landscapes. Let us design and install your front yard, backyard, patio, pergola, swimming pool, outdoor kitchen, or anything else outdoors. Call us today to schedule your appointment with our landscape architect. That's Magnolia Landscaping, 504-460-9780. It's a great time to plant. Magnolia Landscaping, 504-460-9780.
There's more than one way to skin a cat. Just watch out for those PETA people. You're listening to Ringside Politics with a Punch. Give Jeff Crouere a call now at 556-9696.
All right. Got it all worked out. Back with you here at WGSO. We're 990 AM, WGSO.com. Also, of course, you can follow us on your mobile device. Just download the TuneIn app. You can follow on board at Bayoubuzz.com and check out our Google Hangout. Ringside All-Star checks in with us on Tuesday. Steve Sabludowsky with us, publisher of Bayoubuzz.com. And Steve, welcome back.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. And I apologize. I downloaded the Windows 10 over the weekend, and there are some kinks. I didn't anticipate that one. So all in all, the program is amazing. So that's definitely related to the Windows 10.
Okay. Well, one other thing, and then we take these calls. Bobby Jindal, I don't know if you saw his appearance in the first debate last night. I don't know if you've been following some of his recent comments, certainly trying to get some publicity, trying to get noticed, it looks like, by some of his recent remarks. Is it working?
No, it's not working. Had he, well, it's hard to say. I can't say, well, had he been the Republican that emerged after Romney lost, that is, let's stop saying stupid things, and then, of course, the stupid party, then I think maybe he'd, have more of a chance. I mean, look at look at what's happening in terms of the at least other governors. Jindal is, he's been desperate, and as a result of his desperation, he has hurt Louisiana, and he certainly is hurting his own self. Some of his things just don't make sense. I mean, really, like I just happened to read the statement he made, which is a statement he always makes about hyphenated Americans and assimilating. Well, let me ask you a question. I mean, let's just take this to an extreme. And is he saying that Indian Americans, who are pretty upset, as I understand, with him, that they should not wear their traditional garb, that they should not speak Indian, although most do speak English, although it's difficult to understand some of them. Should they not wear any of the, like, for example, I don't know what the red mark is on the forehead. Should they not do that? Because they're supposed to assimilate. Is that what he's telling Indian Americans? I
haven't read his comments, but I've heard him in the past.
It's the same thing.
It's just say that we all need to be Americans, not hyphenated Americans. And I think the point is that in previous generations, we did a better job of assimilating, becoming Americans first. Now it seems like we're our Mexican Americans first, African Americans first, and not putting America first. So, I mean, I'll have to read what he's saying. I don't know how that reflects to as far as religious customs. I don't think he's saying people should give up on those.
Well, he's saying assimilation. Well, he certainly has said about the Muslims, made reference to them. He's in a very difficult position, trying to take the staunch, radical approach, and it is coming back to haunt him.
Well, the other thing he said that has really gotten a lot of publicity recently is saying that the mayors of sanctuary cities are criminals and should be arrested, I guess. And I guess he's talking about Mayor Landrieu, because isn't New Orleans a sanctuary city?
That's my understanding. I don't understand his logic. I mean, I really don't. Please help me. I mean, I'm not saying that he's wrong, because I don't understand what he's saying.
Well, I think he's saying sanctuary cities are, illegal operations, and those that approve of them are violating the law, and I guess are lawbreakers, criminals. Even though 276 mayors are doing it, they're getting away with it somehow. And, he's trying to take a stand against that. And I guess trying to put a lot of attention on the issue after, of course, the horrific killing of Kate Steinle out in San Francisco. Well, let's do this, Steve. Let's get some of these calls in, and then we'll try to delve into some other topics. 504-556-9696. Our friend Daniel in Mandeville checking in. Hey, Daniel, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Steve.
Hey.
Hey, Daniel.
It's been a while, Steve, but look, what I'm going to tell y'all is absolutely true. I heard it with my own ears. So here goes. Y'all talked about John Georges wanting to run. Do you remember when he tried to run before, that he took all those gambling slot machines that he owns? He owns a company that owns video poker machines. He took them out of his name when he ran. And after he lost, he put those back in his name. Okay, he didn't want to get tied up by having people saying, he's in the gambling industry, which he is. Okay, but I had met him years ago, had talked with him. He happened to be a friend of mine. Well, that friend died a few years ago. And inside of St. Rita's Church in Harahan, a man got up and did a eulogy for our friend that died. And he talked about how they manipulated putting this man as mayor of a city. They said, you're going to run for mayor of the city because we want to get video poker machines in that city. And this man sat there in front of probably 350 people in this church and told the story how they wanted him to run for mayor. He didn't want to do it. They ran up for mayor. He became mayor. And he helped change the ordinances in this city so that they can come in and put video poker machines in the city.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked when he was standing in front of all these people in this church talking about it, because my friend who died's aunt told me, oh, he wants to give a eulogy. I'm afraid of what he was going to say.
So it was
And
John. It was John
he,
George's who gave the eulogy.
No, it wasn't John George's.
Oh, who?
It was a friend. It was the person who they put up as mayor for a city around here. It's a city.
Okay, they were eulogizing. They were eulogizing the mayor who died.
He was eulogizing my friend and John George's friend. I've known this guy 45 years. He died. Okay, I knew he was friends with John George's.
Okay,
and for this man to sit there and say how they manipulated, put this man as a mayor so he can manipulate it so that they can put a truck stop in the city, and it's operating today. But he just told the whole story, how he, in front of all these people. I don't know if he was trying to confess his sins or something.
Right.
But what do y'all think about that?
So because of, let me ask you, because of what you learned, is he off your list because of his ties to video poker?
Well, he's off my list, first of all, because he took those video poker machine, that company, out of his name to run last time. Now, he was running when I was with him at this funeral. I actually sat next to him at this place for about 3 or 4 hours, and you should have seen all the people coming up to him, kissing his butt, Aaron Bruce, all the politicians there, oh, how you doing, John, and all this kind of stuff. But no, he's not. What, he was a Republican at one time, then he went to become a Democrat, and now...
Well, he went from Republican to independent to Democrat, and the question is, what will he run as next? So I think that's the question.
So, think about what I said. I heard it with my own ears.
All right, my friend. All right. That's Daniel from Mandeville, 504-556-9696. 2 different callers with 2 different reasons why they wouldn't support John George's if he did run. Let's go to James in Metairie. He's with us. Hey, James. Good morning, sir. Welcome aboard.
Good morning, Jeff, and hello, Steve.
Hey.
Well, I guess if gambling is a problem when it comes to politicians, that makes Donald Trump off the table, too. Wouldn't you say, Jeff? I mean, the guy owned a casino, at least one. Am I correct?
Oh, I don't know how many. I thought he owned several, maybe.
Yeah, well, there you go. A gambling mecca, a gambling machine, Donald Trump. If gambling is a problem to you,
but I think our friend who just called, he told me his candidate's Rick Santorum, so he's not a Donald Trump supporter.
Well, I'm just saying to the other ones.
Okay,
all right. Donald Trump, he's a gambling promoter, a gambling entrepreneur. Don't ever forget that one. Now,
what do you think of John George's running?
I think it's a wonderful idea. Maybe this can stop David Vitter, which is what needs to be done. And I hope Reverend Brown, by the way, instead of burning Confederate flags and to try to redeem himself, even though he hasn't yet to pay the $9,500 he owes the state of Louisiana, begins a massive black voter registration drive in and around the city.
He said he's leading a recall of Mitch Landrieu.
Yeah, well, he needs to stop the recall and get on board registering black voters to stop David Vitter, just as they did in 1991 to stop David Duke. Jeff, you had a deranged caller this morning when speaking about college professors. This consistently deranged caller said that we need to uproot them from our society. And I want to get to something, Jeff, about last night's debate. I watched the entire thing.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it, so I'm curious to get.
I went to bed after midnight. By the way, let's talk about Bobby Jindal and his ethnic background. Both of Bobby Jindal's parents were born in India. Bobby Jindal's wife, as I understand it, was also born in India. Bobby Jindal himself, Payush Jindal, has a phony name, is an anchor baby. His mother is a well-paid civil servant in state government. So much for not.
But there's a whole nother topic I want to get Steve's view on, and that concerns Bobby Jindal's wealth. But I want to get your thoughts on the debate because you saw it and I didn't. So go ahead.
Okay, Trump was not at the so-called debate last night. He was probably working on his gambling mecca. Neither was Huckabee. Remember, within the last couple of days, Mike Huckabee said he would not rule out using federal troops to stop abortion. Folks, ladies, I hope you understand that one. They're anti-contraception, anti-abortion, and use troops to stop you from exercising a constitutional right. Now, Jeff, I grouped them into 3 categories.
Okay.
14 of them last night. The bottom 5 are as follows. These guys, you might as well not even show up anymore, folks. This group is pretty pathetic. Christie, as you might expect. Piyush Jindal, Carly Fiorina, Ben Carson, Rick Santorum do not have a prayer.
They were at the bottom?
Yes, even the Lord couldn't save these candidacies.
Okay.
Middle group. You had 3 senators who were in Washington voting against women's constitutional rights by trying to defund Planned Parenthood. You had Cruz, you had Rand Paul, and of course that
Rubio.
You had Rubio. Cruz, the middle grouping, also marginal. Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, but George Pataki was somewhat of a surprise, but he's in that middle group, and of course Lindsey Graham. In the top group, I have Jeff. The surprise of the entire night was none other than Rick Perry. I just was surprised how he came across forceful. He came across as knowledgeable, and seemed to be a credible candidate. So he's in the top group.
Who else is in the top group?
Rick Perry, Marco Rubio, Scott Walker, Jeb Bush, and my favorite, at least after seeing that last night, John Kasich.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow.
So, that's the top 5. Jindal is wasting his time. He's wasting state of Louisiana money by having state police protection. He needs to go back, and solve the many, many problems we have in Louisiana. But that's the top 5. Perry, Rubio, Walker, Bush, and Kasich.
All right. Somebody who saw the debate last night, James in Metairie. Steve, your thoughts?
Well, I didn't see it. Again, so far I've been very impressed with Kasich. I don't know that much about him. I refuse to listen to what they say they did for the state. Given what all the misinformation that our governor has given the public about what he has done for the state. So I'm not surprised about Kasich at all. He's come from nowhere. And I think
I think he's going to make the top 10 in the Fox debate. I think he's going to edge out Perry, who our friend here said did well last night.
I saw Perry on, I think it was Fox News. I think it's Fox Sunday,
right?
I believe, and I thought he did a good job.
I think he's improved over 4 years ago, but I mean that's such a lingering impression that people have. I mean, he was such a blithering idiot 4 years ago.
Well, he only did 2 things wrong, as I recall. Number one was the issue about the immigrants, and at least wrong in terms of the polls. I'm not saying he's wrong in terms of. I think he said, "Well, you don't have a heart" or something like that. Okay, and in terms of the polls, that really hit him bad. And then, of course, the oops moment.
Well, I think he had several oops moments, if I recall, in the debates where he just didn't even recall where he was going. I mean, I think that he blamed it on medication he was taking, and but
he had back problems. He said,
right.
So I don't know. I mean,
I just saw a poll, and he's at one. I mean, he's nowhere. I mean, he's gotten nothing as far as any kind of momentum going. Hey, let's do this, Steve. Let's try to squeeze another call here before the end of this segment, and maybe we can keep you over for a little bit. 504-556-9696. Let's see what our friend Live Wire has got to say. Hey, Live Wire. Good morning.
Yeah, real quick. Jihadi James forgot to mention at last night's debate, Pataki, what he said. Pataki was blasting Islam and how Islam is error and how Islam was the cause of 9/11. It was very interesting. He didn't hold back words. He wasn't mincing. He clearly said that a problem that was a problem for New York City, for the state and the city, as well as for the nation, is ISIS, Islam. It's all this religion of peace is a bunch of bullshit. Excuse me.
All right. Colorful language there from our friend, the Live Wire. We took care of that. But so Pataki, again, looks like Steve is I guess Live Wire is pointing out each one of these guys trying to find an area where they can really make their mark, where they can go to maybe an extreme to really get people excited, whether it's Jindal saying these mayors should be arrested. I guess Pataki going after Islam. Perry's been going after Trump big time. So Huckabee made his comments saying, I guess, we're the big Cruz one who said that we're the biggest supporter of terrorism now by letting the Iranians get, their money. Huckabee's made some pretty out there comments. So it looks like they're trying to follow the Trump model by being provocative. Your thoughts?
Oh, definitely. No question about that, whether it's Trump model, but they're certainly trying to make noise so they get some kind of attention, without doubt.
Yeah.
At the next part of the half hour, if I might, you mentioned about Jindal's
we got to talk a second or two about Jindal's financial worth, because I have been trying to figure out how in the world somebody who is just on public salary for all these years could have accumulated a net worth of maybe somewhere up to $11 million. And that to me is questionable. And again, we'll delve into that. One more segment with Steve Sabludowsky. Take some more of your calls. 504-556-9696. It's ringside right here, WGSO 990 AM and WGSO.com.
Louisiana Radio Network. I'm Eric Gill. Governor Bobby Jindal announces plans to eliminate Planned Parenthood from Louisiana's Medicaid program. This decision comes in the wake of controversial secretly taped video showing Planned Parenthood officials discussing selling aborted fetus parts for medical research. In a statement, Planned Parenthood says Jindal's decision will jeopardize health care for low-income uninsured families. The group has 30 days to appeal. A Duke University study found picky eating in kids could lead to possible anxiety disorders. Emily Gunn has more on how some don't believe that's actually true.
Dr. Martin Drell, head of infant, child, and adolescent psychiatry at LSU New Orleans, says children have different tastes in foods, just like adults. He says being sensitive to foods is part of normal development.
It's clear that kids have different sensitivities to eating and the taste of things.
Drell says he doesn't have many parents seeking his help for eating issues, but he says if a child's attitude towards their parent changes because of a certain food, then there might be bigger problems.
If it's a concern to you and your family, it may be worth getting an evaluation.
I'm Emily Gunn.
Louisiana Radio Network.
He taught Mike the Tiger to growl in Spanish. He called Shaquille O'Neal Shaq before anyone else. His season ticket number is 1 for every sport. He is the most interesting fan in the state.
I don't often read sports magazines, but when I do, I read Tiger Rag.
You can be an interesting fan too. Subscribe to Tiger Rag magazine. You'll get articles, recruiting news, pictures, and insights you won't find anywhere else. Buy it for yourself or give it as a gift. Tiger Rag magazine is the must-read for LSU fans. It's easy to subscribe. Just go online to tigerrag.com. Nick Saban gets hair products from him. When they're alone, Les Miles runs the stadium stairs to impress him. Joe Oliva checks his schedule before approving game times. He is the most interesting fan in the state.
Stay informed, my friends, with Tiger Rag.
Bon appetit. This is Cynthia Clark, your food reporter for the Cuisine Report. Join me each Thursday at 5 p.m. on WGSO as we talk everything food in Louisiana.
Hi, Eric Asher, host of Inside New Orleans. For the best in New Orleans news, sports, politics, and entertainment, join me weekdays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on 990 WGSO.
Frisbee's brings back waterfront dining to West End with our spacious dining room and outdoor seating, along with 300 foot of dock space to park your boat, all overlooking the Orleans Marina. Hi, I'm Jonathan Brisby. Our menu is a mix of West End seafood classics, Italian dishes, and all of your New Orleans traditional favorites, along with our contemporary signature dishes like combination shrimp and crab meat remoulade over fried green tomatoes, fresh fish tacos, or a tuna tartare drizzled with wasabi aioli. Frisbee's is open every day but Tuesday at 11:30 for lunch. Dinner, cocktails, and private parties. Frisbee, 7400 Lakeshore Drive. Come as you are.
Hi, this is Jim Spyro. Join me every Wednesdays from 5 to 6 p.m. on 990 WGSO or WGSO.com. Remember, your influence counts. Use it. See you then.
It's another edition of Ringside Politics with a Punch and Jeff Crouere. We're on the air right now. The topics are hot. The host is cool. And we're waiting for you to shed some sunlight on our vast listening audience. Call Jeff Crouere now at 556-9696.
All right, another segment with Steve Sabludowsky of Bayoubuzz.com, a Ringside All-Star who checks in with us on Tuesdays. And, of course, we're also visiting via Google Hangout at Bayoubuzz.com. And want to get to all these calls, Steve, at 504-556-9696. But real quick, Were you as curious as I was when Jindal's financial information was released, and it was determined that his net worth is somewhere between roughly $4 million and $12 million? Quite a sizable net worth, a lot bigger than I thought. What have you been able to investigate that?
Well, I didn't investigate it, but I can tell you this, that we did publish an article about it, and we pointed out that in 2007, his income he had the report. His worth, I should say, was the upper limits was roughly 3-point-something million. Okay, that's for his family. 3-point-something million. And so how it jumped up to, I think it's 11.4 million. Either number one, he hired Hillary Clinton as his advisor,
right.
Yeah, financial advisor.
Battle futures. Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, how in the world? Look, Bobby Jindal worked in the private sector. I'm not sure how long, but he worked for McKinsey and Company
Right.
as a consultant.
Mhm.
That didn't last that long, as I understand.
No.
So how in the world did he go from, and his parents, certainly, are not people of great means. His wife is an intelligent engineer, so she certainly brings something to the table, but she has not worked, as I understand, since 2007.
Oh, so she's not working anymore? I thought she was.
No, as I understand, she's not working. She hasn't worked. She has been going around with her particular organization. And so how in the world it jumped threefold roughly over a period of 7 years, say 8 years?
Well, he did write one book, and I read that he got an advance on another book.
He got $75,000 roughly for
Yeah.
the advance for this other book.
Second book, right.
The second book.
How much did he make on
he
the
was
first
giving
book?
away. He was giving away copies of his first book.
Right.
I mean, how in the world I have no idea.
Now, when he goes around giving these speeches, these are supposedly party speeches whereby, he's raising money for the Republican Party. Is he collecting speaking fees on those?
That's something that if that's what he's done, raising money for other people and collecting fees. I mean, my God, as a state,
So he's getting rich on our dime, really here.
I have no idea how he's getting rich like that. I have no idea how the upper limits of his worth was 3-point-something million when he only worked for McKinsey, and that in the private sector. It just doesn't make. Look at Steve Scalise.
Right.
I mean,
I think he owed money. I don't think he had any net worth. Yeah.
Exactly. And congratulations to Steve Scalise, okay, for not taking advantage or taking advantage where he didn't benefit, but obviously he's, I think, a really good case of somebody who entered the public sector and has not profited from that.
All right. 504-556-9696. Steve Sabludowsky with us, Jeff Crouere here. Let's get to some phone calls, Steve. Let's check in with Eb, who's joining us in Kenner. Hey, Eb, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey.
Hey, this is what I have to say today. Everyone keeps stroking the Donald as if his billionaire wealth will trickle down to them. It seems the number 4 has great significance in his life. Let's see. 4 times he ducked the military with deferments. 4 times he declared bankruptcy, thereby ducking his creditors. Hey, don't call him the Donald. Call him the Duck. And that's all the duck I got to say.
All right. That's Eb joining us there in Kenner. So I don't know if he's on his 4th marriage. Maybe that's another 4.
I think it's third
Marriage. Okay. But he's trying to win a 4-year term. So there you go. 504-556-9696. And next in line, it's our friend Phil the Patriot. Phil, good morning. How are you?
Hey, greatly blessed Patriots. Welcome to Barack Obama's orchestrated, escalating bug zombie apocalypse. And it's not going to stop growing because they're doing it deliberately. Anyway, listen, Jeff, I didn't hear the whole show, and I heard something very distressing yesterday on the Eric Asher show. He said something about they may have to drop the charges against the person that murdered our pizza delivery driver. And I'm not sure which one he's talking about, but if they let this man go, it's a travesty of justice. They say in lack of evidence or something, usually, man, it might be a witness that pulled out of something. I want you to find out about it. And let me tell you something. I'm talking directly to Pizza Hut, Domino's, and Papa John's. If you don't stop this, your driver is next. You never know what's going to happen. The charges need not to be dropped. They need to convict this person for killing this man, and it cannot go on. If they let this guy go, he's going to go kill some other pizza driver in the future. He's going to be encouraged to do it. Anyway, there's another thing I want to say, too, before I get off the air today. Recently, one of my favorite professional wrestlers, a man named Roddy Piper, passed away. He once made a movie called They Live. And let me tell you something. They do. They're among us right now. I want you to watch that movie as soon as you possibly can and put your glasses on.
All right. The Patriot. Thank you, my friend. 504-556-9696. Adam in Pearl River joining us. Hey, Adam, how are you, my friend? Good morning.
Hey, good morning, fellas.
Morning,
Adam. I was very amused earlier when I heard Jiver James call in and refer to another caller as a deranged caller. That was the irony of the week for me. I want to refer to your discussion about the Jindal recommending the dropping of the
hyphenated American. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just refer back to the Italian people, the Greek people, Irish, the Japanese, Chinese, all coming over here, coming from different cultures, assimilating into the American culture. At the same time, still attempting to maintain some aspects of their original native cultures with their various celebrations that they do, periodically. That to me is a lot different from what we see with the Muslim people coming over here and demanding to implement their legal system known as Sharia upon the culture of America, wanting to wear turbans in the military, basically closing off their society from American society.
They also want to keep their long beards, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes,
in the military.
Even in the military
Yeah,
as well.
right.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you have the Mexican people demanding to fly the Mexican flag over their schools in California. You have them refusing to learn English on an everyday basis.
Right.
There is a stark difference between those two peoples coming into this country now and the previous immigrants to this country who hold American allegiance first and maintain aspects of their culture as well. And I think that's what Bobby Jindal is talking about. There is no cohesiveness brought to bear by these Muslims and Mexicans now coming into this country, which makes it basically work against the interest of this country. And so I commend Bobby Jindal for those comments. I also commend him for his defunding of Planned Parenthood by the state of Louisiana.
Yes.
I have to give him credit where credit's due, despite any political feelings he might have.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to say.
Okay, my friend, and I appreciate the call. I think you made some good points. I already commended him for defunding Planned Parenthood. And then as far as your comments about unity, I think you make some good points. I do think there are certain groups that come here that want to affiliate more with their homeland or their religion than they do the United States of America. And there is, I think, precedent in the past where people said, all right, we'll keep some customs. We'll keep certainly belief in, our ancestry, but we're going to become Americans first. And I don't know. I do think something has changed along the way. Steve, your thoughts?
Well, I don't know how many communities are at this point in time being dominated by Sharia law. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can educate me about that. I do think that there is a tension between that and religious liberty, something that Jindal has professed to really believe in. That's an issue. But I understand what Adam's saying, and to the extent, I mean, the Mexican flag, no, this is America. Refusing to learn English, if that's the case, no, this is America. So I think that you can go to the extreme, which is certainly not, as far as I'm concerned, acceptable. Turbans, or Jewish people allowed to wear yarmulkes and also have long beards. If not, then no. If not, then I mean, if no religion is able to do that, be loyal to their religion or custom because it's the U.S. military, then no. Then there should not be any kind of special privilege.
Right. All right, I agree. Let's squeeze in a quick call or two here. Steve, our friend Roy in Kenner joining the program. Roy, welcome aboard. Good morning.
Hey, what's up, Jeff? How you making up?
All right, Roy.
Hey, Jeff, early this morning you said you compared California, the state of California, to a zoo.
Pretty much, yeah. Or circus, yes, right.
A zoo? Yeah, well, I got it on good information that the animals at Auburn Park were highly distressed with your comments.
Right. So, I apologize to the animals at the zoo.
Yeah. I want to, I was going to chime in about, I don't think Leon Canizaro has enough evidence to hold that guy, but what I'm trying to get at is, don't they have federal gun charges that they can keep this guy in jail with at least, during the commission of a murder?
Yeah.
Can't they keep him on some kind of gun charge?
You would think there'd be some way we could prevent him from being released back on the streets because I think there's every indication this guy's a murderer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's not the type of people you want walking around the city. I just, like I said, I don't think Canizaro has enough evidence. He doesn't have his duck to the road just yet. But, I mean, my God, it seems to me they ought to have some sort of federal charge.
Right.
That they can, keep him in jail at. But, listen, thanks for letting me.
All right, you make some good points, and let's get our attorney's view here. Steve, we talked, our friend brought up about the pizza delivery murder and the fact that this guy was arrested, and now it seems like there's not enough evidence to, pursue charges against him, and there's some talk he's going to be released, and certainly that would be very distressing.
Yeah, it would be distressful. The question, here's the thing: you have to follow the law. You have to follow the Constitution. If Canizaro, who you and I both know, I think he's real sincere in terms of trying to fight crime. I don't know what evidence he's looking at. I really don't.
Right.
If there's not enough evidence, then what's he going to do? Is he going to not follow the law and not follow the Constitution? I don't know enough about this case.
Doesn't this, again, showcase what we could be seeing with the NOPD, problems with a police department that is really lacking manpower, certainly having probably all kinds of holes in various departments. I'd heard, homicide was looking at reduced numbers when our murder rate is skyrocketing.
Was that Jefferson Parish?
Well,
killing?
I mean, from you mean the pizza delivery?
No. I'm sorry. That's all because of Canizaro. I apologize.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's squeeze in a quick one here. Steve, our friend Flaming Liberal joining us. Hey, Flaming Liberal. Good morning. How are you?
Thank you, Jeff, and good morning, Steve.
Hey.
the Pearl River guy, Adam, describing the Mexican Americans and the Islamic Americans, describing behavior that he described, I think is representative of a minority of those people. It just points out how ungodly in any Christian it is, because the Bible talks about how you treat people who come into your country, and it also speaks to his homophobia. Well, I'm sorry, his xenophobia. But Jeff, I'd like to ask Steve a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, and Jesus said, "Woe to you hypocrites." Jeff, how hypocritical is this? 10 being ultimate hypocrisy. Jeb Bush sat on the board of directors of Tenet Healthcare, made a lot of money because of Obamacare. Now, running for president, he wants to repeal Obamacare. And if Bobby Jindal would have put his money into a healthcare fund, a leverage fund, because of Obamacare, he could have easily probably quadrupled or quintupled his money. And he also hates Obamacare.
Yeah. I don't really see the connection. I don't. I'm not even sure it would register that much. 1, 2. I mean, please help me out. I just don't see the hypocrisy there.
Well, he made a lot of money because of Obamacare. Tenet Healthcare made a fortune because of Obamacare, and he sat on the board of directors and benefited from that money. He made a lot of money. Now, I guess he loved Obamacare when he was picking up paychecks every week and putting them in his bank account. Now he wants to repeal it. Isn't that I'd say that's big time hypocrisy, Steve.
Now, if he was in a board meeting and praising Obamacare and and trying to have Tenet follow Obamacare, then yeah, I think that would be some hypocrisy. Yeah. But we don't, I mean, you didn't present those facts. Yeah. Making money, being on the board, that's just, to me, that's not sufficient.
Steve Sabludowsky, thank you, sir. And appreciate you joining us. And of course, I'll have a column for you later on today at BayouBuzz.com. Check it out. All right, we'll come back and wrap it up, folks. Got some Blue Bayou tickets to give away. And of course, we'll squeeze in a few more of your calls right here on